This isn't the first time that something was very closely something else today.
That's
when you're
true.
like,
wow, how specific?
Well, no, it was
it was in the group chat.
It was the group chat earlier where you're like
group chat.
You're trying to say pod.
No, the murder the podcast.
You're trying to say pod sesh, but it was
ped sesh.
You said ped sesh, but I read it as peg sesh with Taylor, and I was like, I mean,
yes, but also
It's not me getting pegged. You realize?
Austin's like, yeah, no, I know what pegging is.
yeah, I know exactly who was going to be doing the pegging.
You won't
Taylor.
be my first, okay?
Like
so
in
scary.
order of who you're pegging, or today, or
both.
like, oh, okay, all right.
I may not be your first, but I would hope to be your last.
Oh.
No, because whoever goes first gets long
it was
enough
so
to
ruined?
recharge and then go last.
You guys get married.
Yeah, you get to bookend it.
She'll
Yes,
be
that's right. Yeah.
the first and only woman to peg Austin.
Who?
An honor,
Taylor.
not a pleasure.
It can't be both. It just
No.
can't be both.
It just
Welcome to
can't be
Murder
both.
Schmurder.
welcome to another episode of Murder Schmurder.
Who the fuck invited Taylor?
Wait, are we recording that? Sick.
Welcome to another episode of Pet Corner.
Right.
Hi.
Yeah, Taylor's right.
we got Taylor as our
Today's
guest.
episode, we would love for you to fucking email us. Maybe who would you peg?
Actually,
Don't email trashville@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is
I will
Joseph.
read
I'm
that
glad
email.
you guys are here. Send us all your pegging requests, pegging demands, pegging questions.
If you couldn't already tell, this is motherfucking Austin.
he's coming in hot.
Um,
You get him some Chinese food and you ask him if he wants to
Look,
get pegged. He's coming in
I've
hot.
had, I've had a
MSG.
great day. I was at Bakersfield earlier today. I had a couple of margaritas. It's my last. It's
Not
my
a good
last.
time to be pegged then after Bakersfield.
No, you don't think so? I think that's like
After
ideal.
Mexican food?
no,
I didn't eat. I just drank.
Oh, okay. I like your priorities.
Pegging after tequila, I think, would be probably ideal.
Yeah, talk about loosen up.
What'd you have for lunch today? A couple margaritas.
I'm doing great.
Everything okay at home? Why? No, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
But this is Jamie. I do have some good news for the group, speaking of emails.
Hold on. Who are you?
Grant.
And who are you?
Hi, I'm Taylor.
She's back, baby.
Our
back,
special
baby.
guest, Taylor.
Jamie, continue.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. We have our second email ever.
What?
Yes.
We have an email?
We got an email.
Is it from a stranger?
It is from a stranger.
Yes. Not someone we know. Hell yeah.
The stranger,
Are they mean?
well, yes and no.
Hell
They
yeah.
decided to mock us by sending an email from doemailtrashville@gmail.com.
So they made their own email.
Oh, wow.
address.
yeah.
I'm
adorable.
flattered.
Yeah.
Wow. They must have
And-
really thought about
That's
this.
one of our jackass friends.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this smells like MC.
But they write in the email, it says, I'm tired of hearing about how there's never any emails, so here you go. Merry Christmas. Also, the new intro, outro is better than the old one. Good job. The end.
Jamie, did you do that?
I did not do this.
I didn't do
I
this
wonder
either.
if I know who did this.
I feel like Merry Christmas is a pretty good clue. MC.
Who was
Right, yeah.
unironically born on Christmas, right?
She's like real close. I
I
think.
think it's like
Real
right
close.
around. She is a Christmas
Few
baby.
days.
I don't think MC's the kind of person that's like gonna drop like a moniker or something.
Yes,
like,
she is.
Like a fucking
You mean a
serial
calling
killer.
card?
Calling card, thank you.
Yeah, like a
Yes,
super
she
villain.
is.
Yeah.
MC is a super villain.
She is absolutely that kind of person.
She's chaotic.
Yeah.
you should see what her and I dreamed up
Okay,
to
I'll put
torture
it this
my
way.
ex.
I would not put it past her. By the way, I would love that.
I'll keep you posted. Obviously not going to announce it here on this podcast.
Yeah, well, I just hope that you liked my haiku.
I did.
was a
I
good
still
idea.
haven't decided
good.
yet, but it's rolling around up here.
I think you should just let it fucking fizzle out.
I was going to set his house on fire, but your option is
But
cool
then
too.
you let
always
it.
classic.
But then you let it fizzle out.
Right, yeah.
The fire, the house fire?
The fire,
arson?
the house, yeah, the arson. Which I mean, hell, I mean, we've learned enough about these fucking psychopaths to know that arson is, it's a gateway to
Don't jerk off at the
being a
crime
psych-
scene.
Yeah.
All right?
As soon
I'm
as,
telling you
as soon
right
as you
now.
get turned on by fire,
That's when it's
It's a slippery slope.
yeah.
yeah. Do you pee your bed a lot?
That's none of your business.
Do you have a lot of
Sounds like a yes.
I'm only asking for a friend.
head trauma at an early age?
No, surprise. Well,
Oh,
how would I remember? You know?
Oh, I don't like that answer.
Absent father.
Shut up.
Ouch.
Right. I think that's a few of us. All right.
Well, I mean, fuck.
No one at this table had a good dad, first of all. Okay.
Dads, am I right?
Well, at least yours left. Mine stuck around. The fucking prick. Right.
Doing a podcast, none of us had a dad who loved us.
He loved me in his very special way,
I'm sorry.
which was yelling at me and making me feel like I would never amount to anything, which so far he's correct.
No, you're a man with a podcast. Come on.
Ouch. Taylor with the heat.
Hey, he came out with the dad comment. Okay.
I did.
That's
It was
fair.
warranted, and I accept it.
Oh.
And I love you the same.
Jamie,
Speaking of sweet love, we're going to enter a wonderful corner. It's called Jamie's SoundCloud Corner.
Oh God, we're doing this again.
We're doing this again.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Again. Are you going to lead off with a bunch of the same shit we've already heard before?
No.
Yeah, I want fresh material.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I don't have much time for Jamie's SoundCloud Corner. We've got a lot to cover.
no.
Anytime is too much.
I think the last time we did this, Taylor was here. I
Yeah,
think-
he likes to
Correct.
bring
Yeah.
it out, when the expert is on the panel.
Yeah. I remember. I'm gonna drop the line, and then we're gonna go around the room,
Read
1 to
it.
10.
are we on a new song yet?
It was never the same song. That was just.
It had the same theme.
Well, I guess this is a new one.
All right, good.
New bars.
New bars, new theme, kinda.
Here we go.
Okay, you ready? First line. It's kind of beautiful. She make me bust when I see that twinkle in her eye. I fill her up like stars in the sky.
It's kind of beautiful.
Romantic.
Yeah, it's kind of romantic if you think about it.
3.
I'm going to start out at 5. I feel like you really thought about her, and that's important. We love that.
I'll piggyback off of Taylor, and I'll give you a 6 because it was also surprisingly poetic. Gross as hell, but poetic. And you thought of her, so that's nice.
Boom.
Give me the line again.
Austin already forgot.
Or maybe
No,
you
I just
really
want.
liked
I just wanted to be clear.
Okay. She make me bust when I see that twinkle in her eye. I fill her up like stars in the sky.
4,
Disdainfully.
but only because it reminds me of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
it. Ah, shit,
Which
I'm going
was-
to drop that to a 5. Yeah, yeah that's horrible.
Bust.
I like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
How do you feel about salads?
Depends which one. Caesar, House.
Ooh, I do love a good Caesar salad.
Tossed?
Yes.
I wasn't gonna say it. I'm glad they did. Right. Who likes ass salad?
When you put it like that.
Well, when you say it like that, nobody. But
Don't yuck somebody's yum. All right.
I don't want to.
Fucking
Go on.
I don't want to eat a Cobb salad out
give
of
me a
someone's
fucking.
ass.
That's, yeah.
Give me a-
You had to pick the one with the egg in
That's
it.
the exact thing. So on the level today.
Yes, it does
Let me get an extra side of that dressing for that ass salad. See, that's a better lyric than fucking Twinkle Twinkle Little Hoe.
None
whatever
of it
the fuck
rhymed.
this
What are you
was.
talking about?
Give me some dressing for that ass salad. It doesn't have to rhyme.
Give me that dressing for that ass salad. Just it's got something there,
There's
but it's
something
not
there.
worked out.
It's
And
another
dressing.
t-shirt.
It is another t-shirt.
Anyway,
we have to do some
yeah,
merchandise.
we got to start doing merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need a new t-shirt.
Anyway.
so.
How do you feel about this on a t-shirt? My dick hitting her uvula. I'm all about that green. I'm talking arugula. That's 10, baby.
Okay, I like that. That's a good one. Arugula.
One more time.
Yeah.
Run it back.
My dick hitting her uvula. I'm all about that green. I'm talking arugula.
That's good. I'm gonna give you an 8.
7 for me.
Boom.
Yeah, I'll take a 7. I just want to be clear. I'm rating these comedically, not on an actual song standpoint.
I don't know if somebody snuck that into a song.
It'd have to be like a real rap lyric. Yeah.
God damn it. I'm going to have to give it a 5 because I hated it just as much as I loved it. Like,
Split
I
right
got to
in the
be
middle.
right there in the
10
middle.
and a 1
Like,
simultaneously, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say
10 minus 10 is 0, baby. You know what I mean?
that was the first one you've done, I think, where I could actually hear that in a song, and I like it.
That's the first one?
Yeah,
He's like, hold up.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought I had some bars before. I think you've given me an 8 before.
yeah. For comedic purposes, this is the first one I actually liked.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I don't know if that's a surprise to you.
What a serve.
Okay, well, I guess I went in a different direction because I was going with a more...
Better.
I don't want to say serious, but
Okay.
Here we go. Got my girl screaming, piping hot demon, make her knees weak, pussy in withdrawals, keep that bitch fiending. Dyson vacuum and all hands on deck, like she needing all my semen. Coat her throat, tummy full of creaming.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's bad.
I feel like you could have read that better.
That actually that's like months of work right there.
No, don't say that.
He should let me take over these corners.
Were you gooning when you wrote that?
That's like
like gooning.
that's months of
Fucking-
I'll take that line out. That's too weak.
Fucking edgelord
Ooh, this
over
is
here.
working
That
over
reminds
here.
me-
Literally, edging lord.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you ever seen those like really, really high quality, like X-rated music videos that they have on their internet?
I think that's called porn.
But it's like it's set to
Lil Nas X.
It literally is like a song that they wrote for it, and it's shot like a music video, but it's X-rated. They're
Okay.
fucking bizarre. But I could hear that line.
I feel like I'm kind of into that.
Yeah.
I
that'd
could
be-
hear that
You
line
send me
in one
some
of those
links.
things.
You mean like Nelly's tip?
Put them in the group chat.
In the group chat. Yeah. No explanation. Just throw them in the group
Like
chat.
Nelly's tip drill? Like what are you thinking?
No, it's like literally something you can find on Pornhub.
Oh, it's on
Yeah.
Pornhub.
Yeah. It's like a category.
It's like
a weird little
MTV,
thing.
but Pornhub.
Yeah.
Can I ask why you were on Pornhub and you found
I
these?
was
Were
one of
you?
those weird friends that showed me that shit.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I don't know. Like if it's like legit porn, I gotta hear some bodies clapping. It's just like straight music just won't do it for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You like the sounds?
I like the
I like the
sounds.
sounds.
Yeah. I like all the squishy and clappy bits.
That was disgusting to hear.
Now you know how we feel.
Right. Almost as gross as that line that you just read.
Yeah,
that
you
I'm
just
giving,
said that you can't handle
that I'm not
squishy,
even.
slappy
I'm
bits.
giving a flat 0 because fuck that line.
Oh yeah, no one gave the score
Yeah.
on that one.
0.
0.
No, it's like I gave you a score. You have to factor that into the average.
2, because I feel like you spent a lot of time on
A
it.
lot more time than you think. Like, whatever you think,
Oh,
amount of time.
Double it.
You wrote all of these?
Yeah.
-2.
In fact, the last one was workshopped with another person.
Here we go.
Did you subject to this?
Are we
Again, I'm offended.
are we on this last one?
That was the last one.
That was the last one?
Yeah.
And
That's
you
the
workshopped
finisher?
I workshopped
that? You
that.
workshopped that with who? Marshawn?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you who, but it was a
Marshawn.
woman. It was
Oh.
it was a woman.
Can I?
The
Thanks.
person who,
Right.
but
Love you anyways.
she might even get mad because I took out some of her lines that she threw in.
It's not better when you like read it.
It was like, I had to check.
I had to check just to be like, maybe he just it was ass like the way he read it, and I was like, no.
Watching you like lean all the way over there just to double check.
Yeah, and I was just like, maybe if I said it faster. Like
That was
this.
enough.
No.
Yeah.
That was enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, so Austin 0, Taylor 2.
2. I really need you to like get a beat. We need like a SoundCloud corner beat that
That'll
you just
ruin
read
it,
all
no.
of it.
That'll-
What are you talking about?
That'll ruin my rap lyrics.
Yeah.
That'll
music.
ruin these already absolute trash lyrics.
What? What are you talking about?
The arugula one was good.
Yeah. You started out strong and it just
Yeah.
got worse. I'm mad that's the finisher.
I just remember all those times 21 Savage was like, I'm just going to speak into the mic. No beat. I don't want any. It'll ruin the lyrics.
I got a system.
I need you to get like ad libs too, because that's like the best part. as ad libs.
with no beat.
Yeah. Or we could do it together. I'll ad lib while you.
You're gonna ruin it though.
All right, one.
Because it's so fucking good.
Okay, real quick then. If you're so good at it, what would be the ad lib for my dick hitting her uvula? I'm all about that green. I'm talking arugula.
That's not the problem we have. That's the one.
That's the one that we like.
That's the one we like.
I'm saying that if she's like,
You
I'm
got a
just-
5
You got
out
a
of me.
gag, dude.
That last one, yeah, I would say would just be like, gross.
Yeah. Gross.
Grant, what's your score for my last one?
I'm giving that a 2 because I can tell you spent time on it, but I also I don't enjoy the world in which I'm bored and grossed out simultaneously. It felt
Wanna
tedious
read?
and gross.
Damn.
It was like
this
gross
is your
homework.
problem. You're way too nice. You're way too nice, Grant. Like I'm hitting you with the fucking double negatives.
Okay, now we have to get down to the serious work.
Brass
The
taxes.
serious
We're here.
stuff.
Murder Schmurder, new episode is all about Charles Ponzi, the man,
Ponzi.
the myth, the legend who started the Ponzi scheme.
Season 23, episode 800, I assume.
Yeah, let's start straight at the top of this pyramid scheme.
Actually, I'm glad that you said that. Did you know there's a difference between a pyramid and a Ponzi scheme?
I did
Yes,
not.
I did.
Tell me more.
So a pyramid scheme is basically, whoever is the founder gets 10 people.
Grant's like, I know economics.
A pyramid scheme is legal.
No, actually, they're both highly
Wow.
illegal.
Sit down.
Now
Austin.
you have to call them a multi-level marketing thing now.
Yes,
It's a multi-level marketing platform, I believe.
Right, yeah.
but
Looking at you, Lululemon.
spicy.
Mary Kay would be
Mary
a little more
Kay.
apt.
Okay, that's sure.
But nonetheless, they get 10 people under them, and then everyone gets a cut going up. So as long as you're the founder, you're making money doing nothing, essentially. That is the pyramid scheme, and that's how it builds up. A Ponzi scheme, which is pretty sick, to be honest,
Props.
it's a fraudulent investing scam promising high rates of return with little risk to investors, which works by generating returns for early investors with money taken from later investors. The best way this has been put and been described in my research is, quote, robbing Peter to pay Paul. So the idea is, let's say I tell Joseph, you give me $20, I'll give you $50 in a month.
And I'm like, that's more than 20. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Here's $20.
And then all of you each give me $20 because you're like, that's a sweet deal. Now, Joseph did it first. So he's like, oh, it's been a month. But because I have all of your money, I can still pay him the $50. So now let's say everyone else in the group hears that they're like, Joseph made such a great turn on money. Now they're giving me money. So by the time that you, Austin, are saying like, hey, I want my $50, I have the cash on hand to pay you. And you just keep doing that until you just stack paper to the ceiling, and you have to skip town. That's the big thing.
That's the rule.
You gotta leave.
At one point,
You can't hang out.
Yeah, you can't hang out because at one point, like everyone's gonna catch on. So the thing is, you have to be like the snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
You sold everything. Now it's time for you to get the hell out of Dodge, get all the money.
Right.
They never see you again. You start the scam over somewhere else. That's how it should be done.
I found my retirement plan.
Used to be a lot easier too when they couldn't track you as well, you know?
Wasn't there a
Yeah.
movie with Jack Black? He plays some sort of like Dutch. He plays like a polka king, and he
Yes,
sells these
I love
old
that movie.
He
so
sells
much.
old
it's
people.
called Polka King.
Yeah,
And it's so good. It's so good.
yeah. It's about this guy. He's like a famous polka player, and he sells these old people timeshares.
Yeah.
And essentially, yeah, like skips town.
Yeah, he's like running a Ponzi scheme on
Yeah.
these old people because they're like his audience to begin with.
Is that what Polka King's about?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta
I thought it
watch
was
it.
about polka.
Yeah, me too.
So I never watched it.
Yeah, same.
Now there's a lot of polka. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
so
I'm
you can
fucking
still
with you.
enjoy it, but no, it's awesome. I love that movie.
It just reminds me, did you guys, I just went and saw The Beekeeper with my mom. It's like that Jason Statham movie. And it's about like how they basically trick old people into giving them all their passwords and like steal all their money.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's so cheese, but it's
Wait.
like It's 100% just.
Jason Statham's in that?
Is it? Wait, what's his name? Jason.
If it is Jason Statham, I'm just wondering where the explosions are.
Yeah, are you talking about what's that? Jason Statham's the guy from fucking like
He's
Taxi
the bald
driver.
guy that's in all the explosion movies.
He's the bald guy that's fighting everybody in all his movies.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Australian.
it is. Yes, it's
Yeah, he's like
a.
Australian. I think it is. Yeah.
I'm Jason Statham.
Yeah. That's him. No,
That's
it's
him?
that one. It's that one.
How many explosions are in it?
There's lots of explosions.
Oh, okay, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, no, like he like goes basically somebody that he loved this little old lady who was like a victim of it, and then he's just out for vengeance to like go and essentially like dismantle this whole.
Oh, so he's killing the people.
He's killing the
that
people that are
Got
doing the
it.
thing.
I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
motherfucking beekeeper.
Yeah, and that's his thing. He's like a beekeeper, like actually.
Buzz.
But then another one is like, but then he's like, they call beekeepers. He's like crazy underground trained assassins of the U. It's exactly what you think it's going to
But
be.
he also keeps bees.
Correct.
I want to see this movie.
It's actually okay. So if you don't care about dialogue at all, it's great.
I'm gonna give you a nasty sting, and I'm keeping my sting afterwards. This bee won't die.
But it's like pretty great in terms of stunts and explosions and like Jason Statham.
Is there a line? I hope
You
so
wonder
bad.
where your queen
This
bee is?
won't die.
You're looking at him.
I'm a little upset that like you're giving Jamie's SoundCloud corner such like harsh criticism, and then you're like, if you don't care about the words in this movie,
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, I mean, nobody goes to a Jason Statham movie and is like, I
the
can't wait
writing.
for the writing was so good.
It's not like at the Oscar when their best original screenplay, they're like, guy who wrote the Jason Statham movie.
Yeah, exactly. Although I did go see that wrestling movie Iron Claw with
That
Jeremy
movie's
Allen White,
awesome.
and I
That
just thought
movie
it was going to be
fucking
dudes with their
slaps.
shirts off. All those dudes are hot, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And then I was like, I'm crying.
I don't like cigarettes.
Dude,
the smoke
Iron
makes me
Claw,
sleepy.
So good.
If you haven't
It's
watched
so good.
Iron Claw, stop this podcast, go watch it. It's great.
It's
The
so
first half
good.
hilarious.
Thanks, guys.
The second half, you will be crying.
I just can't
it's
even.
just
I-
fucking
see you later, then.
starts kicking you down.
Grant's getting out of here.
And you'll be a little horny.
Where's Grant go? Did we pause?
He's
Are you
going.
go-
He's going to watch the movie.
Are you going to Goon?
I think you just
This
got
is the
tired
Goon
of the.
Squad.
This
The
is
Jason, I think you just got tired of the Jason Statham as a bee impression,
Okay.
No, I just got hot. I turned the air on.
which I can't even.
Oh.
I can't
You're
even.
also wearing a hoodie.
That's true.
I can't get that image burned out out of my mind. Just
Jason
Jason
Statham.
Statham's head on a bee body.
Like B movie, but better.
Buzz, buzz.
The sequel to the B movie. I'm so on board. I loved Jerry Seinfeld as a B. I really loved the B movie.
You
The B
like
movie's
jazz?
good.
That's my favorite line.
You like jazz?
Okay.
You like jazz?
Okay. Charles Ponzi. Charles Ponzi was born Carlo Pietro Giovanni Guglielmo Tebaldo
Guillermo.
Ponzi.
Probably Guillermo.
No, hang on. Come
Gu-
here.
You're saying his name was Googly Ermo.
Is it Guillermo?
You do this. You do it.
Guillermo?
Carlo
no,
Pietro
he's-
Giovanni Guglielmo. Yeah, you're right. Tebaldo
Spell it.
Ponzi. Jesus Christ.
Spell
We're not
Googly.
spelling it. We have too much to cover. I don't have time for that.
This man's name is a Ponzi.
Use it in a
Yeah,
sentence.
did he steal all that money to buy all those names? What the fuck?
He was born on March 3rd, 1882 in the town of Lugo in northern Italy. This is a
1882?
long time ago, yeah.
Holy shit.
Other
Okay.
than that is actually
Legend. Sorry.
little is actually known about his upbringing and the bulk of his life. So keep that in context when I'm talking about a lot of this. Most of this is actually pulled from his own autobiography.
Oh,
Sounds like a reliable source.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of what I have come across quotes his autobiography as a fact, and then it's like you're listening to a con man.
Do you know
Yeah.
if he lied to anyone? I mean, come on.
Something tells me I don't trust him.
So his parents, how do you pronounce this? Do you know that?
All right. Where?
Ponzi's like, define scheme.
yeah.
Or-
What even
Right.
is
Oreste?
lying?
And Imelda?
Oreste and Imelda Ponzi were descendants of a wealthy and prominent Italian family, but had become borderline poor by the time he was born.
I'm a borderline poor.
So apparently, around this time, only 30% of high school graduates would go on to college. And again, this kind of goes back to things don't exactly add up in the way he words things, because he words it in the sense that like his family is very poor, but at the same time he's able to quite easily afford college without having to work.
So they're like rich
I
poor.
can't relate.
Yeah.
Wait, in America or
In Italy.
in
Oh,
Italy?
how much can college cost in Italy?
Well, like I said,
In
only
the
30%
10
of
pizzas.
high school graduates.
And pizza. That's a lot of scarole.
I can say that because I'm Italian. Okay.
Anyway, he goes to
I'll trade you 10 gabagoos.
attend Sapienza University in Rome, where by his own account, he was less than a model student. Apparently, he was fond of going out, going to cafes, drinking, and following around the socialites of the university, where he was known for living lavishly and paying for other people's tabs.
Same.
As a result, after 4 years, Ponzi was forced to leave with no money and no degree.
Same.
After 4 years, no degree?
Nothing.
I guess he didn't go to class. Doesn't sound like it.
So, some accounts say that during his university years, he had heard of several stories of other Italians who went off to America to find fame and fortune. And so he left to go follow fame and fortune. Other accounts say that his family basically kicked him out and forced him to go to America because he was essentially bankrupting them.
Probably a little column A, column B. Probably both.
Yes.
And also, by the way, he did pull it off. Like, he did find fame and fortune.
It's true.
Yeah, 18 something. We're still talking about him. Damn.
There's a scheme named after him.
Yeah. And he's
Goals.
star of a podcast episode.
Look at him go.
Means he's made it.
Several podcasts.
In
episodes.
8 names. He's made a name for himself.
Several.
So he hops on to the SS Vancouver to head to the Boston Harbor.
Abba.
His family apparently gave him
Say it right.
$200, which accounting for inflation would be about $6,300 today.
I was going to say $200 in
Pretty
fucking what? Early 1900s, 1902 or some shit like that?
Right now,
Sheesh.
1802, he's 21 when this happened, so this is 1902, 1903.
Okay.
But he says he gambled it and frivolously spent it, or not all of it, but a very large amount of it. He landed in Boston Harbor on November 15th, 1903, with nothing but $2.50.
On the boat ride over?
Yeah.
He blew it all?
He blew it all.
How long of a boat ride was that?
I'm impressed. This guy knows how to have a good time.
That's yeah, on a
crazy.
boat with limited resources. You know,
I know he
It's-
fucked a lot of people
1800s,
over, but throwing him some props.
I feel like a boat ride across the pond is maybe like a week, 2.
No, this was a different time.
but even so,
Probably about 3 months, if I had to guess. Because
Imagine
doing
being-
it without like
I could blow $6,000 in 3 months.
well, yeah.
I could.
Hell, you're not okay.
When you
Yeah,
put
you're
it
not
like
wrong.
that, it sounds a lot more reasonable.
Yeah. I just took 3 months off work. That's what I blew for sure.
God, I would love to just fucking have 6,000 to play around with for 3 months.
But this is also
I just want $6,000.
this is also 1800s money. You know, like $6,000 in 1800s is like
Well, it was $200.
No, yeah,
oh,
that
it's
was
$200.
the.
Sorry.
But also,
Okay.
you could buy real drugs. You know, you could just go to a pharmacist and be like, "Hey, I'll take all of your cocaine. Here's
You could
$10."
just drink Coca-Cola
Yeah.
and get fucked up.
Dude, you
well,
could
he's
get
saying
into a
he
lot of
gambled most of this.
stuff.
Sure.
Well, he's not very good at it.
it. Obviously not.
It's crazy that he has a scheme now.
Oh, sir, do you really want to do 17 black again? Let it ride.
Are you hitting on 20?
20. Hit me. 24. Hit me. Sir, you have 24. You busted.
Not yet, I haven't.
Anyway, so he lands with $2.50, which is about $80 now. He later told a reporter to the New York Times, and I quote, "I landed in this country with $250 in cash and $1 million in hopes, and those hopes never left me."
Fuck this guy.
Adorable.
I take back all the props he just got. That sucks.
ooh.
Optimism.
It is said that he picks up English fast. I personally believe he studied English in college, but he never mentions it and just says he picks it up fast while he's in the States. Oh, I should also mention that. Well, never mind. I'll bring it up later.
Did you have it written on your hand?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
I should also mention. Never mind.
Don't talk about your hands. Anyways.
Since we're here, this is the third topic I researched to finally land here. The first topic I picked was the Columbine shooting.
Well, no.
Very hard to make fun of
That's
that.
a hard one.
Can't.
Very hard.
Actually can't.
I'm like upset that you even thought that
Right.
that was gonna be a
Jesus
thing.
Christ, didn't realize we were dealing with Jamie Jones over here.
So he was the angle I was going to go with. One of the mothers from one of the shooters, they gave her a TED Talk.
This is getting worse.
Yeah.
She gave a TED Talk?
She gave a TED Talk. And
About what? How to suck at parenting?
you would think so.
Christ.
No, that's a very valid point. That's one of
Yeah.
my harshest criticisms. Like, lady, you are one of the worst ideas of what parenting is and should be. You shouldn't be giving a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And she basically just pawns off all of the things that she faulted, or like all of her faults as a parent, and basically says how.
I heard about that.
Dude, it's messed up.
It's rough.
Didn't they just charge a parent of like a shooter
They
Yes,
did.
and it was awesome.
recently?
Yes.
Good.
So proud of
Yeah. Well, at the very least, even if you didn't like parent incorrectly, like you saw signs. Like it's not even just like parenting, it's like a failure to report
Look,
in a way.
if you have that friend, you know, someone you see once a month, you're like, something's off about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same friend is like, I'm going to go buy a bunch of guns. And you don't say something to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a shitty friend.
I'm not
Now,
saying you should
this-
get the same sentence as him for murdering people, but you should
Right.
get
Obviously
something.
not. But
Yeah.
now imagine this is a being that you created and you have raised from infancy.
Right.
And exhibiting the same things. And then you're like, yeah, well, I mean, maybe lock up the gun. Like,
Yeah.
no, come on. Like, get the guns out of the damn house. Don't go buy the kid a gun.
Should have just used the condom.
Or that.
Dumbass.
Should have swallowed.
Or that.
Thank you, Taylor. I was actually that was on the
Taylor.
tip of my tongue.
I'm all up here, baby.
And if it's on the tip
Same
of your
frequency.
tongue, it's not shooting up a school.
See, nobody's selling me on the whole kids idea. Okay.
I was hoping somebody would make a cum joke about the tip of my tongue. Thank you, Joseph.
No problem. I got you.
Right.
In short, very hard to make a full podcast about that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second guy,
We could find a way. We're really good at that.
you know,
Challenge accepted.
expect a future episode about that.
That'll be a Patreon episode.
That's behind a paywall. Yeah.
Where we just give up halfway through and start talking about dumb shit.
Well, there's another guy. I tried to find like the best con man of all time, and it's like some Indian guy, but it's so hard to look him up and find information about him. One, because most of American media hasn't actually done any research on him.
Yeah.
And so most of it is in or covered by Indian media. That's one problem.
And you don't read Hindi.
Well, that's two.
Like translation,
Number
yeah.
That's
three.
problem like 2A.
So, okay, three. Problem number 3 is he got his biggest nickname, the moniker that he went by, from another person that I believe that he scammed. So, like, the name that he goes by is not his name at all.
So you got the language barrier and then you got the name thing. It's a lot.
And he does a lot of things that are very hard to believe, and I couldn't find any evidence to back it up. Apparently, he also sold the Taj Mahal 3 different times.
That's just a good salesman.
What?
That's pretty
I
cool.
don't know why that rings a bell. I think you've told me about
I was
this.
telling you
Yeah,
about it, and
yeah.
I was like, "This is like I read that part, and I was like, this is gold. I gotta
Yeah.
look this guy up." But it's so hard to find any actual evidence that this guy existed, like, and that is true. But like one of my favorite things that he did do that I absolutely loved. Apparently, one of his first scams was he was walking down a street and there was a building in construction, and there was like apparently like 8 tons of iron to build, for the building for its structure. And no one thought anything of it. He apparently started forging papers saying that he was the owner of the iron and sold it. And he did sell it. He effectively sold it. And then, like, when the people who he sold it to came to pick it up, police were called, and they were like, "No, we bought this iron."
Yeah. I gave the dude the money.
Yeah.
Man, it was so much easier to pull some shit off back in the day.
I mean, that's like standing in front of a car at like a gas station and some guy's just like, "That's a nice car." And you're like, "What
want
do you
that?"
give me for it?"
Yeah, so at my old bar, the homeless guys used to stand out front and charge a cover and check IDs and be like, "It's $10 to get in." And then they'd be like, get down there and they'd be like, "You guys have a cover now?" And I'd be like, No.
That's hilarious.
That's
awesome.
That is really awesome.
Yeah.
Good
so
for you guys.
I'm like,
He's just working.
But also,
Yeah. And he's checking
also-
IDs.
don't hate the player, hate the game.
but also when it comes to that, like in Nashville, you can kind of tell who the homeless people are. That's kind of on you, my friend.
Sure, I didn't get a look at the guy, but also like these people are from
There's a
Nebraska, wasted.
They see him and they're just like, that must be a Nashvilleian. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, that's just how they do it here. It's also in an alley, so I'm like,
Yeah. You're in their spot.
And to be fair, dude, if I've like been bar hopping long enough, if there's somebody standing by the door with a little bit of authority and a flashlight, I'm just gonna hand them my ID.
Yeah.
yeah, dude, that's a pretty like low
You know.
investment. Be like,
Usually,
I'll buy a $5 flashlight. It makes about $200
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Also,
Usually
it's,
though, like they're wearing a shirt that says security.
Sure, but I'm
How
not
cheap is
reading
that?
anymore.
no, and it's $10. You
I
know,
would
they
say
didn't,
it's
they didn't get anything from you that bad. They give you your ID back. Come on.
I
Yeah.
would say that it's more than a Nashville homeless person could afford a security T-shirt.
Yeah, fuck
busting
you,
balls.
homeless people.
They're really busting balls over here.
There's also a distinct smell. Like
Jesus.
it's the I've been farting on myself for the past fucking however
Farting
long.
on myself. That's
I've been
it.
doing that, and I have a home. But I don't know how I don't fart on
I don't know,
myself
Joe's
by
got-
definition.
But you
Got holes in his
but you
socks right now.
shower, my
Okay, I
friend.
got a hobo toe going on. It's because my feet are shaped weird. I don't appreciate you bringing it up. I go through a lot of socks. Okay,
My feet are shaped
my feet
weird.
are my feet are flat as fuck. I don't know if you can tell. I have literally no arch.
They're
in my
not
feet.
shaped like feet. Can't you
Flat
tell?
ass fuck. Ugh.
Every morning I wake up, I have to shape them back into the shape of feet. It's like Play-Doh down there.
Anyway,
God.
back to Charles Ponzi.
Right.
Oh, right. We're doing an
Yeah,
episode.
right.
Yeah. So he's
We probably have to cut
Joseph's
that part
feet
out.
corner.
That's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
he is in Boston at the time. So he says that he picked up English super fast, but like I said, I believe that he studied English and several other
It's
languages
so easy.
while he was in university in Italy. Nonetheless, he does a lot of odd end jobs for a long time, but finally lands a pretty consistent job as a dishwasher in a restaurant. At this time, he says that he would sleep on the floors, but he slowly worked his way up
Into a bed.
to becoming a waiter for the restaurant.
Started from the bottom.
Slowly worked its way up to a bed frame.
And what do dishwashers make at that time? Like a nickel?
I don't know.
A day?
But he was quickly fired because they said that he was fired for theft and shortchanging customers.
Shocking.
Yeah. So
That's just lazy. You know,
apparently he leaves
Get
Boston.
your bootstraps up, dude.
you always get caught shortchanging customers. I've worked in enough places to where there will always be that one idiot server that tries that shit. They might get away with it for like a week.
Yeah.
You know, it comes back really fast. Just saying, it's lazy.
Bad form.
Bad form. You're right.
There's somebody I want to talk about, but I can't. We'll talk after.
Okay. Apparently, he leaves Boston and moves to Montreal in 1907.
Canada.
By this time, he had apparently become proficient in English, French, and Italian,
Show off.
and was able to land a job at a new bank called Banco Zerosi, started by Luigi Louis Zerosi, which was focused on capitalizing on getting the influx of Italian immigrants.
Oh, he was Italian?
Double Louis.
We'll give it away to you.
The Banco.
Careful now.
Bank.
What's the bank called again?
Banco Zerosi.
Banco.
Zorowski. What the Italian name? Because here in Canada.
Somewhere Sam is looking up in his house like, someone talking about me? Someone talking shit?
He was hired as an assistant teller while working there, and Ponzi would soon learn his biggest trick yet. So apparently, there was a separate bank that was also focused on picking up the Italian market sector, which apparently offered 2% interest on its accounts, which is, on average, very good for everyday banking. Their plan would be to take in the money, invest in Italian securities, and then pay out, or then make 3%, keep 1%, and give back 2% to the customer.
Okay.
But to compete, Zerosi said the other banks were greedy and then said that he could offer 6% to his accounts. How could Zerosi afford this? The only way he could afford this was by doing the Ponzi scheme, robbing Peter
Wait
to
a
pay
minute.
Paulie money.
So Ponzi didn't even come up with the Ponzi scheme?
No, he didn't come up with the
He
Ponzi.
just stole it from some other asshole.
That's kind of like that's kind of legendary.
That's amazing.
Seriously.
Wait, the ultimate scam.
Right.
Yeah.
Scam somebody
No
else's
originality necessary.
That's super fitting, man.
Luigi the bank owner is like, ah, come on.
It's a the Luigi scheme. Come on.
Luigi's never get the
No.
first call.
So,
no.
Always living in the shadow of Mario.
like I said, as long as new customers are coming in and people kept putting money in, then the facade can still be kept alive.
Right.
This goes on for some time, let's say a couple of months, and the timeline gets fuzzy around here. It's very hard to piece together what actually happened.
Good save.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But Ponzi apparently starts getting wise to the game that's going on and starts trying to hustle where he can. So he apparently sees one old lady basically putting in lots of money into her account, most likely a retirement fund, and he starts to forge checks under her name. Now,
Oh, okay.
around this time,
Classic.
Zerosi sees his moment and his time to shine. So he grabs a fuck ton of his money from the bank, skips town, leaves his family, and flees to Mexico.
Men.
From Canada? From Canada.
Jesus Christ.
He flipped through an entire other country to flee to that country. He could have stopped halfway through.
It took him 2 years.
Yeah,
Like,
he ran forever. And this is what, 1900s? Early 1900s?
This is 1907.
catch me.
My favorite part about that is this is Mexico and he's in Canada. So like whatever you hear about Mexico is like what you hear about a fairy tale land. Like I
Yeah.
hear there's beaches, sun everywhere.
It never snows. It's
Big
warm
booty
all the time.
mamacitas.
Mamacitas as far as I can see.
Big booty mamacitas. So the bank auditors come in and start reviewing all the paperwork, doing auditing, yada yada yada. Like I said, Ponzi's forging checks, and so he forges his next check, and they quickly catch him doing it. Apparently, they go to arrest him. When they arrest him, he apparently is they arrest him at his house. He apparently had just come from buying an entire new wardrobe as he was planning to skip town.
you gotta look good,
They
man.
got him on the worst day to get into because he was like bopping down the street like I'm gonna look so good, just like popping his collars. Can't wait for Duluth, Minnesota.
Now,
Fur coat in the middle of the summer.
Now, like I said, Ponzi also wrote an autobiography, so he paints the picture a little different. This is how he
Oh,
paints
does
it.
I bet he does.
He says Zerosi skips town. Ponzi starts helping out Zerosi's mourning family as he moves in and lives with them.
He was fucking the wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right. He moved in with the family.
Yeah, he moved in.
help. Take off of your pants.
I hate you.
He
Don't
says
hate me, hate Ponzi.
he walks into the office of one of the company's customers because he's just such a good assistant teller that he walks into one of the company's customers, a warehousing company. He apparently walks into the office of the director, finds that no one is there, and makes himself a check of $423.58.
I'll take this.
Oddly specific.
What?
Yeah, right.
I don't know why.
No. Now, you need to make weird numbers.
Because then they can look at it and be like,
Oh yeah?
wait,
Yeah.
if it's $423.58, that means that one bill that we missed and that one invoice that we missed and that one receipt we didn't scan. Oh, you know what? I know where this went. You know, this is too specific to be suspicious.
Yeah.
$500. That's when I got a little suspicious.
Yeah.
And he does this often when he talks about being caught in his autobiographies. He normally just when caught, he says that he's guilty and lifts his wrists up and allows them to arrest him.
Okay.
Oh, it sounds like my ex. She's just like, yeah, I did it. What else do you want me to say? Oh my God. Are we going to move past this? Is this going to be it forever?
Quite literally what I did when I got my DUI.
When you hit a cop car.
Yeah, I literally. Yeah, they opened the door. I was like,
"Take me away."
I fucked up.
Yeah, that is the perfect time to throw in the towel, man.
Yeah. There's no talking your way out of that
when
one.
the cop gets out of the car, you rear-ended.
So why'd you pull me over, officer? You want me to do a field sobriety test?
You want me to do a little jig?
No problem. Watch me cartwheel, you fucking pig. Yeah, take me.
I can do my ABCs and my 1, 2, 3s.
So they throw Ponzi in Canadian prison for somewhere between 2 to 3 years.
Canadian prison for 2 to 3 years is nothing.
Can't be that bad.
Kush.
In fact,
I could do that right now.
dude, this part's the best part. So he is still writing back to his family, but he doesn't want to say that he's in prison. So he tells his mom that he is now hired as a special assistant to the prison warden.
To the regional assistant manager, to the regional manager.
Don't worry about it, Mom. I'm just doing the finances for the prison.
If you think
They
it's
gave me a
weird,
cot here. It's great.
all my letters need to be addressed to the prison. And I know that seems odd, but I work for them, so it's
I'm
fine.
working really long hours.
They gave me my own room. It's great.
Corner office.
So he gets out, right? Some Italians who speak no English need help getting into the U.S. Ponzi, seeing his opportunity, says he can smuggle them across the border.
Of Italy and Canada?
No, from Canada to the United States.
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay, I got you, yeah. I was like, geography.
I know.
Something's not adding up.
Math don't math.
I went to the ocean myself, Joseph.
I really hope at some point you're like, there's a land bridge somewhere.
Yeah.
So to inform the listener, at this time, Italians were seen as the low-class illegal immigrants of the time.
As opposed to now.
As opposed to now, yeah.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, when Italians are seen as the fucking just geniuses coming into America.
Don't be mad because we're so fucking suave. Okay?
I'm jealous of your food.
In fact, one popular, now antiquated racial slur was referring to when referring to Italians is WAPS, which is an acronym for without papers.
Not my wet ass pussy. Both.
Oh my! I had never put those two together. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're spelled
Rebrand.
differently, but
They
yeah.
are spelled
rebrand.
differently.
Yeah.
They're spelled
They are
differently,
spelled
but
differently.
I have both.
Nice.
Wet ass pasta.
Never mind, 3.
Now, I wrote this part so many times and took it out and put it back in, so we'll see how it lands. As a Latin person who was an undocumented resident for many years, but am legal now, I don't want to make a one-to-one comparison of me smuggling non-English speaking Hispanic men across the Mexican border and comparing that to Ponzi sneaking in a handful of non-English speaking Italians across the Canadian border. And it's not exactly said how or where they were stopped, but with context clues, it seems as though he did the equivalent of me just driving a car full of undocumented people across the border, because he was, as they're coming into the United States, they are promptly stopped.
By Border Patrol.
By
Got
Border
it.
Patrol.
Yeah, got it.
And they're like, where are your papers? And none of them had the correct paperwork. And
I
none
thought-
of them spoke any English.
I thought the Canadian border police were like, "What's that smell?"
Is that
I'm
garlic?
Italian. I can say that.
Is that garlic?
Terrible.
Pull them over.
But they stop all of them.
We can cut that out if you want to.
We were all thinking it. No. Carry on.
There's 2 Italians in the room. We're all right.
They are all stopped, immediately found with no paperwork, imprisoned, and this all happened within 17 days of him getting out of prison.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Didn't waste a lot of time.
No.
I was thinking
At
you were
all.
going to go and be like,
Less than
he took
3
all
weeks.
this
Yeah,
money from these immigrants and said, we'll get you past the border. And then just pulls up to the border and was like, I didn't know they didn't have any paperwork. And they go to jail. And
That's
he's
way
like,
smarter.
Well,
that's what I would have
he
done.
kind of did that or tried to do that. So apparently when they asked him what he was doing, he said that he was just a paid interpreter for them.
I'm just giving him a ride, man.
That's pretty clever, actually.
Yeah, but they knew it was bullshit. And so the Border Patrol was able to get all of the men to flip on him, and they all admitted that he was smuggling them. They released them eventually and charged him for smuggling, human trafficking.
Idiot.
So
That's very good. That's very
Is this the Canadian or the American authorities?
and now he's handed over to the American authorities.
Because I'm
for
picturing the
human
Canadians being
trafficking.
like, "You were just here, eh?"
Again.
So the Americans take him in and they send him to prison in Atlanta, Georgia.
Way worse.
Way worse. But I have a lot to cover, but he actually befriends people in the mob at this time.
The Dixie Mob?
In Atlanta, I forget exactly
We're
which
everywhere.
one, but
Yeah.
it's like a side
Apparently.
tangent that really adds up to
Is this,
nothing.
Is this the Italian mafia?
It might be the Italian off that.
Because I mean, they did travel. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
fucking what's his face?
Several factions of like different mobs in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
I mean, Al
They're
Capone
they're
had
still there. What am I talking
had
about?
ties here
Yeah.
in Tennessee. You know, like they came to the South for
Of
sure.
course.
But
We had a shitload of money.
Bootlegging
For a
and-
long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, he does a couple odd end jobs for them while in prison. It really doesn't matter much. He pretty much doesn't have any more ties afterwards. So he gets out of prison, and he basically is just going from town to town picking up small jobs, and he ends up in a mining town in Alabama. Exactly how, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
And this is awesome. He becomes a nurse to a mining company. And
A nurse?
A
He's like,
nurse.
I'll just dabble in the medical field now.
Thank you for saying that, because I looked through so many different articles and looked through so many documentaries, and at no point in time did I find any evidence that he had any medical expertise, training, or anything of the sort, and no article
What was
mentions
the-
it or bats an eyelash.
What
about
was
it.
the
I just
town?
put a Band-Aid on it.
Do you know the town name? Being from Alabama, I can very quickly tell you he just needs to say that he's a nurse. And he'll say, "Oh, thank God."
Just say it with confidence, okay?
Hey, you're bleeding. That's the nurse.
He's good at his job.
Which in the early 1900s, probably.
I mean,
They're just like, do you want some cocaine?
Yeah. I got a tackle box full of drugs and bandages.
Yeah.
You're like, you're hired.
So he comes, while he's working as a nurse, he comes up with the idea that he should start a utility company to provide water and electricity to the mining towns.
This man has range. He's a
Seriously.
Renaissance man of his
He
time.
really is.
But again, he has no money. So he starts off by trying to sell stock of this company to build up capital and make it all happen. But then something interesting happens. And there's some fill in the blanks here. And I think you can help me fill in the blanks. Okay, so apparently a fellow nurse named Pearl Gossett, whom he allegedly did not know, that is clarified several times. He did not know her.
He did not have relations with this woman.
But she got horrifically burned in a kerosene accident in one of the mines and needed skin grafts that would have otherwise would have made her lose limbs or even die. So he allegedly donated over 100 square inches of his own skin
What?
from
Chivalry
which was
just isn't
taken.
what it used to be. Would you guys?
No.
Just like each of you, 20 inches for me.
Sure. Yeah.
for you,
Sure.
for you,
20 inches?
absolutely.
Like your ass cheeks, you know.
Well, no, I like those.
Not the money maker.
If I knew,
like
if I knew
those.
that Taylor was walking around with my ass skin,
Never let her forget that.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say
What's up,
nothing.
ass face?
You're
It
just a
was
piece of ass.
just to have that information for myself.
And Joseph, you would clearly have markers for Taylor. Like,
Yeah, you would
could-
know.
Oh yeah, can I
would-
pick the tattoos that I want to then
You
put
would
on
very
my body?
clearly know which part was me.
I want the ACAB one.
Okay, you can have the ACAB one. That's fine.
I just want to go last because I want to know everyone else is doing their fair part. Like, I don't want to be the first one, and then like it's like I did 20, Grant does 20, and then the doctor's like, oh, we only needed 40 actually.
And I'm like, oh, damn, I would have given it to.
I want to be the last guy. Like, oh, we need the /20. It's like,
I'll let you pick which spot you want.
You're a
I
real son of a
love you.
bitch, Jamie.
I'm just trying to get some new ink, you guys.
Joseph and I over here are like, no question. You're like, I want to see what everybody else does.
I'll go last.
just write it out. See if she
They
really.
literally, like, when they get to Jamie, they just take, like, a piece off your elbow, and you're like, oh, you make a big deal out of it.
I just get his weenus. Like,
Right.
You're like,
oh,
oh,
this
man.
hurts so bad. I don't know.
It's growing back.
Joseph, you'll never understand my pain.
Does this look infected?
No, just like half my neck is just like exposed. Like it looks like Big League Chew. Like, yeah, it sucks for you.
I'm missing 3/4 of my thigh.
My favorite piece got taken by Taylor, but yeah, sure, that's fine.
I would definitely go to the hospital and be like, Taylor, I gave you everything. Like, there's no.
can I get a picture of Tia and Tamara? For those of you that
Are
don't
those your
know,
tits?
yeah, Jamie calls my tits Tia and Tamara, and he's been constantly using different faults in his life to orchestrate me sending him a picture of them. So you're saying there's a chance?
My dear listener, we've known each other for a very long time.
We're all quite chummy.
So anyway,
I'm just trying to save your ass you up.
he donates 100 square inches of skin. Accounts, again, differ wildly on how much skin he actually gave. Some accounts actually say it was double that.
Double?
Yeah.
No way.
But nonetheless, he goes in the hospital for 4 months and had multiple complications. And in that same time, another company started to service the mining companies for their water and electricity.
And he just gets to look fucked up because of it. Love it.
Chicks love scars.
I don't even know if I believe that he gave skin.
Well,
Yeah,
Is
he
it
probably
He's got some
documented?
skin in this
It's not
game.
documented.
He probably just
It's
got
not
his fucking
documented?
ass beaten and was like bedside for 4 months. He was like, "Yeah, I donated all my skin to this horribly burned woman."
Yeah, he tried to fleece some big ass miner, and then they caught him, beat the shit out of him. and
That's
he
why
was
you
like,
haven't seen me for exactly 4 months since I got my ass kicked.
Yeah,
I think if he did donate, and that's if he did it, he accidentally caused the whole kerosene accident.
yeah. To say very specifically that
long
you
con.
don't know this woman who was horrifically burned in kerosene. I'd be like if you heard a bunch of cars hitting outside, and I just power walked in. It's like I wasn't driving. I don't know what that was.
I've never even heard of a car. I don't know why are you looking at me?
I walked here.
He tattoos "my bad" before he donates.
Anyway, he is eventually fired and then leaves and starts his life again in Boston.
Fast.
Going back to Boston.
Back to Boston, baby.
Shipping back up to Boston.
Dropkick Murphys.
I love that song.
God,
Anyway,
that song is
he
so
finds the
annoying.
love of his life, a fellow Italian immigrant and stenographer, Rose Maria Gnecco. At the same time, he tried to run and start up several companies, all of which quickly failed. But she stuck by him, and they eventually married in 1918. To help give context on how he could pull this off, Rose is 23 and Ponzi is 36.
I'm sorry, where's that kind of woman these days? Just
You're
ride or die
Just Bonnie and Clyde.
through and through.
It helps if there's a 13-year age gap. I think it really does.
I'm sure she thought he was very rich.
I mean, okay, point taken.
I'm sure he gave her that idea.
Yes.
You know, like he probably rolled in looking real nice with a bunch of clothes he stole and then swept
And some
swept her
sick
off the-
scars.
Yeah. Oh, that kerosene lantern accident.
I saved the lady's life. Shortly thereafter, he helped her family, who owned a small fruit stand in downtown Boston that supposedly was, or at least he says, was failing anyway. And by the time he took it over,
Failing anyway.
it went bankrupt within the year of him running it.
Shocking.
In his defense, the American economy was still in a recession as it was getting out of World War I, but it's hard to say if it was his doing or not. Nonetheless, again, she sticks by his side as he starts his next big venture, as he apparently talks to her about his big dreams, aspirations, and how he wants to give her and adorn her with a lavish lifestyle.
I'll show you aspirations.
Supposedly, Rose would go on to say
Thanks, Taylor.
many.
I'll show you Asperger's.
Supposedly, Rose on many occasions would often say how she didn't need money to be happy. He was the one that actually.
It's a lie that poor people say. It's like money can't buy happiness. I'm like, that's what rich people tell poor people.
So
to
we don't
keep
kill them.
poor. Yeah. So we don't rise up. Okay? It's like rain on your wedding day. I'm like, you're just fucking saying that it's good luck to make me feel better. Like, God.
She says it with such tenacity. I love it. That's what they fucking tell you.
They fucking do.
Either way, Ponzi dove headfirst into his biggest scheme yet. The year, mid to late 1919. He rents a small office in downtown.
Big jump.
Yeah, big jump.
He wasn't doing anything
So
for
he
8
froze
decades.
himself.
Well, I mean, like he meets or moves to Boston, meets Maria or Rose in 1918.
Right.
So
Runs her family business into the ground.
runs it to the ground. 1919 starts over.
Right.
And
What's next?
pretty much, yeah, he's just rubbing his hands, just like, I'll figure it out now.
Gotta get back on the horse.
So, before figuring out what he's going to do, he rents a small office in downtown Boston. Which
Boston.
I love. I just love the idea of like, what's your business? We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
I got the office though.
Yeah. You need a place to conduct business before you can do business.
That was literally us starting this podcast.
What's it about? Nobody fucking knows.
Okay, so he could barely even afford the rent for the office, yet he still needed furniture for the office. So he goes to a local secondhand furniture store, picked out about $350 worth of furniture, and struck a deal with the owner himself to pay $50 as the down payment, then $5 a month. Meaning it would take him 5 years to pay off the furniture.
Been there, bro.
Asbestos and all.
It's a rent-a-center.
Keep this in mind because we're going to have to bring that back up later, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, what was Ponzi's first plan? It was to run an import and export business, which can be very, very lucrative. But his biggest problem is he had no contacts with importing or exporting any goods of any sort. So he realized how hard it would be for him to break into that sector. So he pivoted and decided he would make a free magazine called The Trader's Guide. And it would help, he would sell it essentially, sell the advertisement, and that's where he would make the money. But he would hand it for free to the people that he wanted to break into the sector.
And that ended up becoming Trader Joe's.
What?
Because Trader.
No.
Weekly Trader.
No.
Trader's Guide. Okay.
Gotcha.
Trader's
I gotcha.
Guide.
No. I see the wordplay.
Fuck you guys.
Let the man cook.
Okay, so he prints it in several languages so he can send it to different companies across Europe and the United States, only to realize how much it actually costs to print, run, and funny enough, he did not take into account that he would have to fill the magazine with worthwhile content.
Been there.
This is sounding a lot like our podcast.
I'm also seeing a pattern here.
Put in the cart
we have to
before
do
the horse.
episodes? Good ones?
Worthwhile content.
As you can imagine, his magazine company was about to go bankrupt before selling his first magazine. So to paint the picture, he is apparently sitting in his office that he already paid for with furniture he was already in debt for in the company that turned from import-export to magazine company, all about to go bankrupt before it could even print its first copy. And right now, the king of putting the horse before the cart sits down and decides to rifle through the mail.
The American dream.
He gets a piece of mail from Spain. He opens it, requesting a copy of the magazine, but with it is his golden ticket.
Goodness, you want some wine with that cheese?
He finds a postal reply coupon. Like I said, this becomes his golden ticket. To give context,
Come on, Charlie.
in 1906, 63 countries came together. They realized it was hard for people to send mail, especially from the United States, to more poor nations and get mail back because people couldn't afford stamps. Like one person can, but to make sure the other
that's
person.
an expensive stamp.
So what was often the
Like
case
a
was
collect
that
call, basically. Yeah.
what was often the case was that people would come to the States, send mail to their families, but because so many people in Europe were facing poverty and have an inability to pay for the mail, they would be unable to send mail back. To help alleviate that, the nations came together, creating the postal reply coupon. So the Spanish correspondent had enclosed in it a prepayment of reply postage that was bought from a Spanish post office for 30 centavos. And it could be exchanged for a U.S. postage stamp worth 5 cents, a redemption rate that was fixed by international treaty.
Man, I'm lost.
Okay. So stamps for stamps.
So theoretically, someone who bought a postal reply coupon in Spain could redeem it in the United States for about a 10% profit. Purchasing coupons in countries with weaker economies could increase that margin substantially.
Okay.
So then he comes up with the idea, if he can just buy a whole bunch in these poor nations, get them back here to the States, transfer them into money, boom.
So let's say
profits.
I spend $300 in dollars to buy these poor people stamps, send them back to me, cash them in for $500.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
a weird international currency scheme.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now, we can get more into the logistical problems of
You don't
doing
have
that.
to.
No,
That's all right.
pass.
But the biggest logistical problem is you can't exchange it for straight cash.
Sure.
You exchange
Store
it for
credit.
stamps.
You're like, cool. I'm hood rich in stamps.
So now you have to find someone
Awesome.
who wants to buy $5.
Hey, you want to buy $2,000 worth of stamps?
You got any money? No, but I got stamps.
Would you take a stamp for this?
Yeah, what's the trade-in value for stamps?
I don't know why
They're worth their weight in rupees.
you saying hood rich and stamps.
Hood Rich and Stamps, my album title.
I was going to say, that's another T-shirt right there.
So anyway, this becomes the cornerstone to his newest money-making scheme. And to use my previous catchphrase from my previous episode, bazinga, baby girl. So Ponzi starts selling this idea to people all around him, and he talks it up all around town. He wants to start this legitimately, and he goes to a local bank, specifically the Hanover Trust Company, and attempts to get a loan to pull this whole scheme off. Them quickly seeing how stupid this is, to go across the globe, buy a fuck ton of coupons, travel back via, because at the time, the quickest way to send anything would be via boat. Come back, sell them back to the postal system in the United States, and then try to figure out how to turn that into cash.
And see if you can return them.
I love it. He goes to a bank. It's like, all right, I need a loan. Okay, what's your idea? I'm going to get on a boat. I'm going to spend all your money on stamps, coupons, though. And then I'm going to get back on that boat.
Do another
I'm
line.
Turn that into stamps.
He's like, it's a great idea.
I can also see him explaining this to the bank, like loan person, and like as he's saying it, being like, "No, I hear it now. I had to say it out loud. I hear it. This is it. I'll leave.
I'll leave. It
Thanks
reminds
for the
me
coffee." Like,
of that Always Sunny episode where they go to the
Thanks for
bank
coffee.
and they're trying to be like, we're going to buy a bunch of fuel now with the money.
Yeah.
And then fuel prices will go up in a month.
And then
we're
we'll
going to
sell
sell
that
it.
fuel.
it's the
they're
same
like-
kind of thing.
They're like,
Yeah.
no.
So, like I said, the bank quickly just says, no, please leave. So he holds a grudge. It'll come back later. But
You son of a bitch.
They don't see my genius.
pretty much, yeah, they don't see his genius. So he decides to do this on his own in a grassroots campaign.
Is this guy you?
He started a GoFundMe.
They don't see my genius.
It's like Jamie's distant descendant. Sorry, ancestor.
Roasting on my nipples. Do I do that?
Yes. Yes.
No, you specifically put your thumb and your fingers and like up to your
temple.
forehead.
Yeah.
So he starts his grassroots campaign. He's talking this up all over town, going bar to bar, business meetings to business meetings, basically just connecting with whomever, and then making this insane pitch. He starts telling people, if you invest in my company, I will give you a 50% return on your money in 30 days.
A hell of a guarantee.
Or I will double your money in 3 months.
Can't afford not to invest.
That's what he apparently that was his whole angle. Like big numbers, these people won't turn me down. They can't turn me down. You'd be
He must have
stupid
been very
not to.
charming.
He was apparently very charming, but apparently like when he got caught in a lie, like
He just folded.
yeah, he just folded. Shit.
Was he hot?
Yeah,
No, he
was
had
he?
a bunch of skin missing.
I don't want to say
he
he.
was marred.
I don't want to say he was ugly. He was,
Yeah, let me see. Let me see.
but I want to say he was like 5'2". So
I'm out.
That was tall in the 1800s.
For an Italian, absolutely.
Everyone was malnourished as shit. They were like-
What was the guy's first name again?
Charles Ponzi.
Charles. I gotta see.
Charles Ponzi nudes.
Not an ugly guy.
Do not look at my Google history.
I don't hate it.
Jesus Christ! Him with
He's
the
got a
mustache.
good stash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's handsome.
yeah. He's handsome.
Is he?
I wouldn't throw my cat at him, but
He's like handsome for a bank teller.
I mean, it's okay. It's the hat that does it for me.
he's a sharp dresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine for the era. I'd say.
Yeah.
Like most Italians. Most Italians are sharp dressed.
Yeah.
So in between, like you would kick him out of beds for eating crackers,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't throw your cat at him.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
Somewhere between that.
That's most. No, I'm just kidding.
I would like to see the person that you would throw your own cat at.
Hate him.
She just hates the cat.
my cat
So apparently people around town started asking him, how could he afford these insane margins? He doubles down and says that he could easily afford these margins because with his scheme, he was promised a 400% rate of returns.
400%.
But that doesn't really like support that. He's like, no. I can justify this. I was promised 400%. And everyone's like, yeah. Okay, that checks out. Like,
yeah.
what? No. Just being like, yeah, no.
So he starts selling these, like whatever, like, you know, you hand him $30, he would hand you 30 Ponzi notes.
This man
He had his
created
own
his
currency?
He
own.
created his own little like
I love this
currency.
so much.
Oh my god.
Just my goodness.
This is It's Always Sunny.
Retrospectively. I love it. Yeah. Can I get the wild card?
So
IOU. That's a weird way to spell Ponzi.
he starts his own company, and this is awesome. He calls it the Securities Exchange Company, which to any of our financial bros who have any finance history knowledge offhand, this predates the SEC, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, which is basically the police of doing this kind of shit.
So the United States copied Ponzi, scammed the scammer.
Actually, kind of, yeah.
A little bit.
Like,
I mean, since we left the gold standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a
It's just-
scam.
It literally is too big to fail, as they think.
Yeah. They think that.
I know. It's gonna
I
fall.
hate it here.
The economy's fake. I don't know if people know that. Like,
People
it's-
want to dog on us on
pretty
astrology, but like,
Yeah.
what is credit? Okay.
Yes, dude, thank you. Yeah. You want to
shut up,
shit on me
Mark.
because I'm a fucking Virgo, but like it's also like, hey, your numbers in space are
good
just
point.
that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean anything beyond what you think it means. Look at
point,
Dogecoin and NFTs. As soon as people realized rightfully that was fucking stupid, All the money fell out.
I mean,
of
look
it.
at GameStop stock.
Yeah, you can artificially manipulate whatever you want. Yeah, which they do.
I know.
Anyway,
I love it.
Well, they do, and then the government figures out that you can't do that. Fucking government.
and then the government's like, "Well, hey, we were manipulating it for us."
1,000%.
I killed Jamie's vape.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I've hit it once while we've done this episode either.
You're a professional.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I have Joseph's.
While we're
Don't
on the
kill mine
pause,
though.
Well, I have all these chargers if you need one.
I love that laugh after you said, "Don't kill mine," though.
Because I
Suck
need
on
it.
that.
Because I'll freak out.
And I'm really pretty strong, so
So anyway, what the fuck? God, you're killing me.
Oh, it's fine. I'll move on. Joseph's. What's happening? Oh.
What are you doing?
In the
Okay.
first month of starting his company, he is able to get $1,800 worth of money. With inflation accounted for this, that would be about $28,000 now.
Okay, that's good.
that's a solid month.
That is a solid month.
Now, to make this even better, Ponzi did a couple things. When doing the company registration, he did a couple things to cover his ass. He made his wife's uncle, John DeRero, as the company's president, who also invested in the company without even knowing that he did.
Wait, but how did he do that?
So he stole John's money.
He stole his money and then put the money, like his name on the money, and then also made him president of the company.
Foolproof.
The second person to sign off as a co-signer was his old Italian landlord, Guglielmo Bertoli, who was dead at the time and was listed as a co-signer and second in command. And then third and finally was Charles Ponzi. And by that, he also labeled himself as an employee and purely as the company manager.
Smart.
Okay.
So
All right.
Yeah.
Covering his
Okay.
tracks a little bit.
So word spreads fast. People are thinking that this is crazy, but the Italian community eats this up. A lot of them start investing money by the hundreds and then eventually into the thousands. He would, in fact, even pay people a percentage if they got others to invest. So a little bit of the
There's some pyramid scheme.
pyramid
going on.
scheme here, but Ponzi scheme is the name of the game.
It's all coming together.
The numbers vary wildly all over the place, and it took auditors years to look over the books and see how much he took. But it seems as though he was averaging somewhere between, and some accounts say $30,000 a week, some say $30,000 a month.
Jeez.
Either way, especially back then.
Logistically
Together.
speaking,
But see, that's a
even
lot for now.
$30,000
Yeah.
a week is wild, and $30,000 a month is probably closer to where it was
You
at.
could have bought your own country with those kinds of numbers.
But
Seriously.
$30,000 a month is still $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what would transfer to now?
Right.
Yeah, I could live off that.
I'd
Yeah.
take that.
I think I could live off that.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, I'm only making $500,000 a month.
So this is
I'll just live within my means.
4 or 5 months in.
Not
we're-
buying new.
A used yacht. Okay.
Reduce, reuse,
Look, it's
recycle.
new to me. All right.
By the fourth or fifth month, this is now May of 1920, he had accumulated about $420,000 in investments, which is now $6.7 million. Now, things are coming up Millhouse for old Ponzi. He's really turning his life around, and where could it go wrong? ...
Where?
Well, first off, so Ponzi didn't really invest much money in other smart investments like he should have, or as other people told him to.
What?
But in fact invested most of his money to control the other banks or get in control of other banks. Remember when I said that he had a little bit of grudge for being denied from the
Yeah.
Hanover Company?
He's still on
Wait,
it.
did he buy the company and gut
Bought
it?
Hanover.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Chess, not checkers,
He
baby.
put $420,000 of that money, like the bulk of his investment. So he has money kind of everywhere. But
Yeah.
they say on the books,
Diversify.
$420,000 for sure. He has it in the Hanover Company. Now the Hanover Company, apparently, like the owner, they were like trying to do some deal, And he comes in and talks to the owner and basically says, like, hey, who's the largest depositor of the entire bank? And they run the numbers and they see that it's him. And he's like, what would happen if I pool all of my money at one time?
That's like a threat.
So, yeah, he threatened him.
Hypothetically, it would have.
So he threatens him to say that, like, I could pull all of my money out of your bank, which would make the bank collapse. And so they make an agreement that for a $200,000 stake in the bank, he becomes the owner of a $5 million bank.
Wow.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Balls.
I couldn't find anywhere to prove it, but someone said that, like, he apparently fired the loan officer that denied him the initial.
I love that.
I don't necessarily need evidence to believe that.
Yeah, right?
I'm
I was
sure
like-
he did.
That probably felt real good.
Same. Yeah. Petty. We love a petty bitch.
Do you remember me?
Now,
It is
You
I,
mean
the
the-
genius.
The walking, talking mustache. Yes, I remember you.
That also applies to Austin.
That's so me. That's so me. My mustache is better though.
so a couple great
It
things
is.
happened
It's
now.
a good one.
Apparently, somebody else got wise to his scheme and to a T replicated his hustle. They called themselves the Old Company Foreign Exchange Company and opened up right next door. Their game plan was legitimately just to steal the people, because apparently going into his office, the lines were huge.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people every day were lining up to just give him money. And their idea was, well, we'll just open that next door, and anyone who gets too lazy, too tired, we'll just take their money.
That's good.
So funny enough, Ponzi wanted to shut them down, of course, but he was unable to call the authorities on the scammers for running his same scam. Right? This is genius. They're doing
What I'm doing.
I think it's fucking awesome. I think
Was
it's
it was
genius.
it ran by the guy that he fired that didn't give him the one in the
That'd
first
be
place?
awesome.
Was it though?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You son of a bitch.
Apparently they were never stopped by him. They just stopped earlier before him. Before everything went belly up, they just like, okay, that was
cashed
good.
out, yeah.
Yeah, they cashed out and just bounced out of town.
Smart.
Get out while you're ahead.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
So Ponzi apparently he can't do anything, so he just keeps on moving with the rest of his life. And is still, like I said, making stupid money. And to make everything look more legitimate, he hired managers, secretaries, security detail, and even a publicity agent, William McMasters.
That's a made up name.
It's a real name. And he's going to come back later in the story, which is fucking awesome. But after that, he decides to pay off his debt that he owed to the secondhand furniture store. The owner,
After making $30,000 a week / month, he's like, maybe I'll pay off that furniture now.
so Joseph Daniels, the secondhand furniture store owner, who hooked up, but in reality was hustled by Ponzi, because if Ponzi wouldn't have made this money, Ponzi was not planning to pay him back.
Sure.
So he goes to Ponzi and he says, because he gave him such a good deal and because he had so little money, he should be considered as an investor of the company and should be entitled to 50% of it.
The balls.
Bold move, Cotton.
See if it pays off.
As you can imagine, Ponzi kicked him to the curb and basically told him to fuck off.
Eat dicks.
Daniels comes back and files a $1 million lawsuit against Ponzi and is able to freeze over $700,000 in assets from 5 different accounts.
Damn.
This is posted all over
Sweet
the
vengeance.
newspapers, all over media, and is painting Ponzi in a terrible light, which he does not like and he's trying to avoid at all costs.
It's bringing heat too.
Yeah, so he's trying to get this nipped in the bud as soon as possible.
He's never going to shake this.
He actually does.
Why?
He immediately settles the lawsuit for $50,000 and calls it even.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
The guy froze $700,000 of assets and only gets 50.
I mean, he only was owed what, $350?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're walking with $50,000, I'd call that a W.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah.
And you're just a secondhand furniture store owner.
You got it on a lark.
Started from the
basically.
bottom.
Sorry,
Okay.
that last sip of beer has got me not thinking clearly. No, that's a great deal.
In fact, I added this. I said, let the record show that Daniels is one of the few people that steps foot in Ponzi's life and is able to walk away better from it. Admittedly, he sued him, but let this be a lesson to all the listeners. If you see someone pulling off a terrible scam, sue them. That might be your best and quickest buck ever.
That's
And-
the ultimate scam.
Shout out to Strategic Hospitality.
Nice.
Anyways, apparently, Ponzi notes become so widespread and popular
Same.
that it got to the point that non-believers put in some leftover money, treating it like a lottery ticket. Some people put in some of their savings, and some people put in their life savings, and some people even went so far as to borrow money from banks with high interest rates to invest the money.
What?
Getting a loan to buy fake currency. It's Dogecoin all over again.
So some people apparently
That's the original
NFTs.
Dogecoin. God.
So some people apparently did not get worried that this scam was too good. So early
I'm
investors,
sorry. Can you imagine like Ponzi in whatever realm he is, like looking at NFT? He was like, "God, come on!
I did this.
I had Ponzi note."
so early investors capitalized on 50% returns because, as you can imagine, people were scared that they weren't going to get the actual money. But because Ponzi had so much more money coming in, he was easily able to pay out all of his initial investors. Again, going back to the whole robbing Peter to pay Paulie. While some were satisfied with the returns and walk away, as you can imagine, their newfound confidence persuaded them to apparently turn the money right back in and only fueling the people to invest more.
Yep.
Another scheme that Ponzi used to add reputability was that he would get his secretaries to send postcards to investors a few days before their date to collect their profits was coming up. So people tended to trust him even more as it sounded like he wanted them to actually get their money. But again, most people would just, I'll just reinvest it and take the money and over and over and over again.
We love a personal touch.
So he's rolling in the dough. And the first thing he does apparently is, and it's super long-winded, but apparently he buys like a first-class ticket out of Dodge, right?
Yeah.
But everyone's watching his every move because they're like, if he leaves, we're going to pull all the money. So he can't just leave. So he uses the ticket to buy a first-class ticket for his mother to move from Italy to Boston to come live with him.
Mama's boy.
Yeah,
Kind of sweet.
that is kind of sweet.
Very Italian.
And apparently he wanted to buy a big, lavish mansion, but Rose hated the idea of living in a gaudy, oversized mansion.
That's not very Italian of her. Come on, Rose.
There's too much gold.
Enough crown molding.
And so they opted for a luxurious home right outside of Boston, specifically in Lexington, Massachusetts.
Oh, Lexington. Okay. Ritzy.
Now, remember this is
Massachusetts, not Kentucky.
1920. Air conditioning is still new, highly inefficient, and comically enough, it was still commonplace for toxic coolants to be used. But nonetheless, Ponzi had his new home fitted with heating, air conditioning, and even a heated pool.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice, right? Now, I don't want any of the listeners to think that Ponzi is a madman, genius, snake salesman. And of course,
Snake salesman.
snake oil
I
salesman.
bought this rattler from you last week and it already died.
No, it's not. It's just sleeping.
Snakes sleep a lot.
So everyone starts to suspect that he's supposed to skip town. Like, of course, this scam is going to fold. He's going to leave. The people that believe this the most is the United States government.
Oh, they're watching this.
Now, the Attorney General steps in. By this time, the Attorney General starts suspecting that this was an entire scam, namely because they start running the numbers on his whole postal reply coupon investment, and none of it is making sense. They start thinking of other ways he could actually sustainably offer such high interest rates to his investors, and none of it is adding up. Even the local newspaper, the Boston Post, would mock Ponzi, most notably with cartoon strips showing the growing bubble of the Ponzi scheme ready to burst. At this time, the Attorney General is also tapping his phones and looking through all his mail, trying to find something.
The man is always watching.
What happened? Did he scam some money from the government or something?
They weren't sure, so they were doing their damnedest to try to find something. They found nothing.
I like that they were shading him through comic strips.
It's very 20s.
But my favorite part is like I said, they're tapping his phones, they're going through all of his mail, they're going through his garbage, yada, yada, yada. And they're hoping that they can find like he's running some like mob business of some sort on the side, that he's planning to leave to go to Mexico. They don't find anything, and they're even more confused because they're like, surely we're dealing with a madman genius.
Right, they're just looking in the wrong place because it's basically the first time somebody's done something to this scale.
Yeah. But they're thinking, surely if someone is doing something of this scale, they have a huge trick up their sleeve.
Right.
And like,
but it's just a new trick.
Like you're watching the trick happen. They're like, no, there's got to be a red herring. So there's got to be
in plain sight.
Yeah.
So everyone is super confused, especially his biggest spectators. And even though he says to reporters that he doesn't want to divulge his secret investments and consistently high impossible returns, which I absolutely love. He's like, I don't have to tell anybody shit. As long as the money's there, you can shut the hell up. So Ponzi's wealth, just as his debt, even in its infantile state, grows and grows, and still not even a year in So we're not. By the time this all blows up, it's 9 months in.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a quick run.
Seriously.
So by the 8-month marker, everyone is absolutely flabbergasted by his growth and could see no real end in sight. Again, no one really knows how to stop him because they can't find that he's doing anything necessarily illegal. That is until Monday 2nd, 1920. Shit hits the fan.
Monday 2nd.
Monday, August 2nd? What did I say?
Oh, you said Monday 2nd.
Sorry. Monday, August 2nd, 1920. Shit hits the fan.
The second Monday in 1920.
Monday.
Ponzi's former publicity agent, William McMasters, writes an editorial piece that gets plastered on the front page of the Boston Post titled, Ponzi, Hopelessly Insolvent, and would go on about how Ponzi is drowning in debt and that if you ever want to see your money, so you have to get it now while he still has some of it.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
There's the other shoe.
There's the other shoe right there.
Mm-hmm.
It never seems to be mentioned exactly what happened to make McMasters Ponzi's former public agent, but it sounds like he found out the truth about Ponzi, wanted a bigger cut to keep his mouth shut, and was not given the raise he wanted. But, and this is my favorite, when asked why McMasters would say all of this as Ponzi's publicity agent, he said, and I quote, "A public relations man's first duty is to the public he serves."
Cool.
So
like
Ponzi,
a true politician.
Yeah. Ponzi pissed him off and he was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Like, you don't want to give me a bigger cut? I know how much money you're making. And then he was like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck you.
So by August 10th, 1920, U.S. federal agents come and impound everything in all their offices. On August 12th, he meets with investigators and auditors. He apparently asks if he is truly insolvent. And again, by his own words, he says he is truly insolvent and apparently put up no fight in shutting down his business and raises his hands to be cuffed.
Okay.
From there, he is indicted.
Been there.
From there, he is indicted with 86 counts of fraud and shut down.
86.
They shut down his bank, the Hanover Trust Bank, the same bank he worked so hard to procure.
Fuck. So he had 9 months of all of his bullshit schemes actually working.
Yeah.
And then they just dropped the hammer.
Yeah, and they're like, no. Again, it goes back to there's several different accounts of how things kind of worked out. There's another account in which he was actually arrested at the Hanover Bank, and apparently he was surrounded by like a lot of Italians and a lot of his biggest fans, and the police there apparently were attacked by the mob trying to protect him because they so fervently believed that he was there to save them and help them get rich.
Wielding salamis, I got you.
You could make this same comparison to a lot of politicians now where they are plastered as saviors, but then when they are doing something illegal, they can say fake news and say that...
Like, that
A
reminds me
con
of-
artist in politics.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something.
Or
What?
they could be doing illegal stuff and be like,
I
"Hey,
don't know what you're talking about.
you have to vote for me, or you get the previous guy." I'm just gonna keep doing the same shit, but do you want me to do it, or do you want Donald Trump
It's
to do
a
it?
giant
It's
douche
slightly
or a
worse.
turd sandwich.
Slightly worse. Wait, slightly less worse. Yeah, you know.
While going through all his books, auditing every dollar, following all the indictments and all, they found out that Ponzi, and this is awesome, Ponzi never even bought a single postal reply coupon.
Not a one.
Not even one to put frame it and put it on the
Just-
wall.
Yeah,
like his first
sticky.
Not a single one was ever bought. He just started the idea, sold the idea, took in all the money. I was like,
He's like, I'm an
yes.
idea man. Okay.
Oh my god!
I mean, even Bernie Madoff, almost, he started kind of in the realm of which he was supposed to be operating in.
Who is that? Should I know?
Yeah.
He's
Enron, right?
about 100 years later, a guy named Bernie Madoff ran the most successful Ponzi scheme of all time. It destroyed so many people's lives. There's a really cool documentary on it.
We should do a follow up on that one. That would be fun.
Wasn't it like one of the catalysts that started like the 2008 recession?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
He really fucked a lot of
He
people
fucked a
over.
lot, yeah.
Like,
No.
Did he get killed?
Just put in jail
I don't.
for like
long
a
time.
second.
I think he died in jail, but of natural causes.
I think so.
I don't think anybody killed him, even though they should have.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Taylor,
Yeah.
can you do the whole I'm an ideas man thing again? Because I really enjoyed that.
I'm an ideas man.
Now, like I said, numbers did vary, but it seems as though the final number that the government reported said that about $10 million was invested into Ponzi's scheme within the 8-month run he had.
Insane.
While accounting for inflation, that is nearly $152 million.
God damn.
You honestly,
In
you
8
have
months.
to be impressed with the guy. It'd have been
man's
cool if he
got
turned that money
stones.
into something legitimate and then actually tried to pay people back appropriately.
That would be cool.
That would be cool, but
He didn't.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
I've never done anything that's
But
successful.
apparently he
even
owed
if it's built on a house of cards.
he apparently owed about $15 million, which in today's money would be $228 million.
Sheesh.
You got to spend money to make money.
I mean, that's what they say.
So the Boston Post even posted a list of people that had invested and lost most, if not all, their money, and listing their sob stories, which is kind of messed up, but it's kind of funny.
Sales papers.
Here's a couple of them. One was a World War I vet who was suffering from tuberculosis and invested his life savings hoping to take the money to retire in Arizona.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, where the clean air is. Yeah.
One
They
would
said that shit, by the way.
They did say
You're like,
that.
not
Yeah.
my words, not my words.
One woman invested. This is like comically messed up to me. One woman invested the $1,000 her husband received for losing his leg in an industrial accident.
Only $1,000. I mean, I know back then, but that's your leg.
But for a leg?
For a whole leg.
For a whole limb.
Damn.
I like both my legs.
I don't play favorites.
And then one couple invested their $4,600 life savings that they were going to use to buy their first home. Anyway,
I feel at least bad for them.
Ponzi was quickly put to federal trial and was swiftly sentenced to 5 years for fraud.
Just 5.
5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, for 9 months.
You know what that is? Return on investment. I'll show you how to take 9 months and turn it into 5 years.
He, of course, went to prison for the third time. And all things considered, I don't think he was that shaken by it. Like, if you had spent several years in prison across several different nations, like...
And then lived incredibly luxurious your time
for
outside
like 9
of that.
months?
Yeah. I'm like,
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah,
You know?
it comes down the wash.
I'll just make a few tweaks.
But while he was in prison, he wrote to many of his investors. Oh, this is awesome. He wrote, I quote, to many of them, he hoped the recent miscarriage of your investments wouldn't mar the spirit of the Christmas season.
God, I hate
Fuck
him.
you.
He sent a Christmas card?
He sent them Christmas
We love
cards.
a personal touch.
Whoa. I'm sorry, but as soon as you're like locked up, shut up. Shut up.
I thought you were about to say he was like, I'll be back out. Don't worry, I'll get you your money. No, he sent him Christmas
He
cards.
sent people Christmas.
I hope this didn't ruin your holiday.
So I got this new job at the prison. But I'll be back to managing your financials very
I
soon.
just love the
Well, he didn't even
recent
say that. It was
the
just
recent
like,
miscarriage
sorry about
of your
losing all
investments.
your money.
No, miscarriage of investments.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah, because then it's
That's so
like, it's not
corporate
my
speak.
fault. You know? It just happened. You know?
Well, so
This
good.
bad thing happened to all of us. Merry Christmas.
And just like before,
You think you got it bad?
I'm in prison, okay?
Could be worse, all right? Perspective.
And just like
I'm the victim.
And just like before, there was a wide variety of responses and levels of belief and disbelief. Some, as you can imagine, insulted him and the very fiber of his being for stealing all their money.
That's
Sure.
What?
Some wished him well and
What?
hoped he would land on his feet.
Who would?
I hope you come out on the other side, man.
You'll be all right.
Dude, it gets better.
Just keep doing it.
Some people even sent him money,
Get out.
hoping he would invest it wisely as soon as he got out.
I mean, they're feeling the Christmas spirit. It's, it makes sense.
Ponzi was released 3.5.
Go to hell.
His run isn't over.
Jesus. What?
I'm down, but I'm not out.
No,
Are you telling me
I'm
that-
down, but I'm not out, baby. I'm still in this game.
We're at halftime right now.
I got
Is
that
what you're
dog
telling
in
me?
me.
I got that dog in me.
Ponzi was released 3.5 years later, presumably for good behavior,
Watch this.
in 1924, and was promptly placed in Massachusetts state trial. So the first one was federal.
Okay.
Now Massachusetts state is going against him, and again swiftly convicts him, sentence him, and gives him a harsher sentence with a 7 to 9 year term.
Okay.
He appealed their decision and was able to get enough money to get out on bail. Yes, hang on.
Hold my beer.
In this time, he ran off to the best place on earth, Florida.
In all seriousness, how much is left? 'Cause this might be a two-parter.
No. We're rapping.
Okay.
We're
Okay,
rapping.
We rapping now, baby.
He's going to Florida.
He goes to Florida. He goes to the best place
Where
on
everyone
earth.
goes to die.
or commit more crimes.
I just think of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Miami Beach.
So he goes to Florida in hopes that he can make enough money for his legal costs. So
I'm selling gators.
he starts a company called the Charpon Land Syndicate Company. Charpon, Charles.
Sounds
Ponzi,
legit.
Charpon. He goes with a fancy name, so he just kind of
Chapon.
Charpon. You get it. Now, what did this company do? They would acquire and sell land. He buys land cheap and sells land for hire.
It's genius.
Tale as old as time.
Well, land. They're not making any more of it.
The big problem? He starts buying up swamps
Chapon.
and then sells it as straight up land.
Like, you can build a home here.
Would you like to buy my bog?
To be fair, he was like decades ahead of his time because that's basically what Disney did.
Shit.
You know, he just held on to it Could have made a good ass amount of money.
Keep the swamp puppies.
Real estate is the safest investment, right? Right?
Right.
Tell me I'm right.
I don't have any investments.
I need to know that I'm right.
Quickly, newspapers and investors caught on and found out he was Charles Ponzi from the Boston newspapers, and quickly charged him with fraud. He skips town
Tale as old as time.
and starts his move to head to Texas. And he does so by ship, where he is promptly arrested and returned to Massachusetts for his next prison term.
Florida
He
to
went
Texas
to-
is predictable, you know?
It's a lateral move.
From Florida on a boat.
It sounds like it.
Well, you'll never catch me.
No, like he buys like they're not cruise ships, but like a ship that goes from Florida to Texas, Texas to wherever.
Like through the Gulf, I guess.
Yeah,
A ferry?
yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
So he hops over to Texas.
He could have gotten away if he would have just like gone by land.
Drove.
If it wasn't for those meddling kids.
If it wasn't for the meddling government.
Charles Ponzi.
That's the thing. I'm
No, no,
like,
no,
this
it's-
guy's been running scams for years. And
It's
no one's like, maybe I
Sharp
shouldn't
on.
get into bed with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, although, look at our ex-president. Nobody takes that to heart.
Nope.
By this time, auditors had liquidated all his frozen assets, crunched all the numbers, and again, they had spent months and years trying to go through all of his paperwork and still said that millions were unaccounted for. Nonetheless, in 1931, after everything was said and done, courts stated that Ponzi still owed $2 million more. But with what they had from his liquidated assets, they gave out matching percentages to his owed investors. They were all given what was the SEC notes that were worth pennies to the dollars they had been given.
Woof.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're now in the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Rough.
The year 1934.
Ugh.
Ponzi gets out of prison again. Ponzi is met with a pissed off mob of victims and all their families.
And a pissed off mom.
There was definitely a pissed
Maybe a
off mom.
couple.
Apparently, they said a lot of children and grandchildren were there because a lot of parents had given up like their life savings.
Yeah, they're like, you ruined my inheritance, you fuck.
You ruined my entire life. So they're yelling and throwing things at him. And reporters were there, and apparently they wanted to interview him as he was trying to leave. And he said, quote, "I went looking for trouble, and I found it."
Same.
Shortly after his release,
What is he getting these off a cereal box?
It's reductive, but all right.
Shortly after his release, Ponzi was cited for deportation proceedings. And this
Ship
is-
him back.
Dude, this is fucking awesome.
Go back to your own country.
Canada, Mexico,
To Italy.
where? I mean, come on.
You gotta love this. So he apparently reached out to the Massachusetts governor, Joseph B. Ely, and asked for a full pardon so he didn't have to be deported.
Wow.
Again,
You gotta love
the
a guy.
balls.
You gotta love a guy.
Did he
that's
go
gonna
up there and just be
write-
like, please?
I honestly
I'll be
never would
good.
have thought that. Me personally, I never would have thought of like, well, I guess I'll just write the governor of Massachusetts.
I'd be like,
And hope-
everyone hates me.
Yeah, and hope he's in a good mood when he gets my letter.
Maybe
Like,
he just forgot I'm Charles Ponzi. I don't know.
yeah, he's like, oh, sure, whatever. Wait, who? Fuck, I already signed it. She's fine.
This reminds me of Cartman going up to his mom. Mr. Governor, could I have a pardon? Oh, stealing people's money is very bad, and you shouldn't do that.
Write it 100 times.
Now, of course, he is denied, and by July 13th, he turns his appeal down. On October 7th, Ponzi was officially deported. Ponzi puts it as he was forced to leave his wife, Rose.
Forced.
Rose was like, bye.
But again, this was 14 years after the initial incident where he is charged and goes to prison.
And then he runs away and goes to prison again. He hasn't seen her in like 14 years.
She's like, is this enough for an annuity? An annulment? An annuity?
Yeah.
An annulment?
It's hard to find anything that she actually says, but as you can imagine, this wasn't the time where they were interviewing women.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
But
you can talk.
You
she's
thoughts?
she stayed in the United
She
States.
was like, yeah, but then
Get back in the kitchen.
She apparently stayed in Boston after reporting that he was in no position to support her in any event, and
you don't say.
divorced him in 1937.
Took her that long?
Yeah.
Stand by your man, you know?
I mean, within reason.
I mean, she was there for that long.
Boo.
Fucking kidding, dude. No way.
I know you're kidding.
Hey, I paid a lot of men's bills. I can't really say anything.
Shit. Ain't that the damn truth?
Go off, Queen. Pay them men's bills. Yeah.
Independence. Kind of, not really.
Thanks, feminism.
Yeah. Let's bring down the patriarchy and make women pay bills. I
Yeah.
like this.
So you're saying I get to stay home and make sandwiches all day?
So
Shut up, sweetheart.
Yes, honey.
apparently he's in Italy and starts doing the same shit.
Back up to his old ways.
back in the game, baby. He starts writing an autobiography and tries to get 1,000. His game plan is to get 1,000 investors to invest at least $25 each, so that he could pay off his debts and start over.
I'll just take their money and pay my shit
Just a
off.
small investment of $25,000.
I'm once again asking you to pay
Yeah.
my debts.
Well, it didn't work,
No?
and
What?
no one believed him.
What?
Credibility.
So what does he do? He doubles down and befriends people that are somehow worse than he is. I don't
Birds
know.
of a feather.
He gets in good with Mussolini's government.
Hell yeah, back to the mob, baby.
Not the turn I was expecting.
And you said this is not a two-parter?
And for those of you that are not familiar with Mussolini, he was Italy's dictator and essentially founded fascism,
Italian daddy.
which later will play a bigger role in World War II, which
You may have heard of.
but you may have heard of it, but we're going to be rather reductive about it, kind of what we did with the Gulf War, and basically say it was not good.
It was bad.
A lot of bad things happened. And Italy did a lot of the bad things.
Yeah, very few people enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then some bad things allegedly happened.
The craziest thing is that Italy did a lot of bad things
sorry.
and then somehow just kind of got away with it. Like, nobody's mad at Italy for World War II.
They're like, it's the food. You know?
It's the food. Japan got bombed pretty good.
Twice.
Germany's a national shame lives on.
Yeah.
Italy, they're like, but it's so beautiful and it tastes so good.
It was the man with the mustache. He got me into it.
I had a fish named Mussolini once.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
He's a
Who
guppy. It was supposed to be like, it
It was supposed to be
Yeah.
cute. Ironic.
was supposed to be cute.
Grace on board. It's like,
He
I had a
died.
fish named Hitler. That's so funny. Yeah.
Was it a guppy with like a little military uniform on? He would like march across the bowl.
Yeah, he killed all the other
Yeah,
fish.
he killed all the other fish. Then they hung him, but it was weird because he was in the water, and so he couldn't really like.
Still living. Just let him
Yeah,
hang.
he's just tied.
Anyway, he works his way up in the Mussolini camps
Jesus.
and is awarded a pretty sweet gig. He is awarded the job of being an agent in the Italian state airline Ala Littoria, specifically the state airline agent in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So he's flown out to Brazil and lives a lavish lifestyle with servants, limousines, security detail, and all.
What in the
What?
actual fuck? This is
What?
insane.
This man's luck is insane.
Seriously.
You tell me that Ponzi, like, he's like, hey, I did it.
He spent his golden years in Brazil.
Which is a fantastic
Big booty
place.
bitches.
Yeah, man, like, come on.
Big booty mamacitas
As far as the eye can see. Oh my God! Can we play? There's a really great Italian song called "Shut Up in Your Face." If we could play that at the end of this episode,
Is there really?
Yeah, it goes, oh, what's the matter you? Why you looking so sad? What do you think you do? You got to no respect. It's a not so bad. It's a nicer place. Shut up in your face.
Dean Martin, huh? No.
Close.
Pavarotti.
So shit is going great for Ponzi. He is living the high life. He is technically not doing anything wrong or illegal or hustling anybody. And he's got a generally great life.
You don't say.
This is going great until
Oh?
Mussolini starts gearing up for World War II.
No. Here it goes.
And then they start sending back jewels and different assets from Italy back, or from Brazil back to Italy, specifically for World War II funding.
Sure. Got to pay for all those jackboots and uniforms.
Now, the British intelligence gets wind of this, and Brazil at the time now sides with the Allies. So British intelligence shuts the shit down super fast and forces the Brazilian government to cut off all the gas supplies to the Italian state airlines.
Nice.
So Ponzi is out of a job.
Ah.
Now, it's never said if they fire him or if he's kind of offered a different job, but he doesn't go back.
Why would you?
Yeah.
You're in Brazil.
I'm in Brazil.
He's in Brazil.
Living large.
Nobody knows who you are. There.
Or you can go back to Italy and face World War II.
Yeah.
Pass. No thanks.
So he stays in Brazil to teach and be an
I'm with
interpreter.
Shakira's grandma. No.
To be an interpreter of French and English. But he again has no real job and makes now pennies to the dollar.
He didn't save anything.
No, of course
He doesn't
not.
seem like a saving type.
Not really a saver.
Now, remember that autobiography scheme that we brought up earlier?
Yep.
He never wrote the autobiography.
Isn't that
Tell me that's
the
a scam
auto
too.
part? It's the auto part of the biography.
So now that he's got all the time in the world and no money, he actually starts to write his own biography.
God, so he finally buys a stamp. I'm impressed.
He buys a stamp, writes his own story. He's turning it around.
That's the end of the story. And not to this day have I bought a stamp. The end.
But he kind of really just starts writing it because his health starts deteriorating so fast. By 1941, he has a heart attack that leaves him considerably weakened. His eyesight begins to fail, and by 1948, he was almost completely blind.
Oh, when all the schemes are gone, he just
And
can't see the light anymore.
a brain hemorrhage apparently paralyzed his left leg and arm. Ponzi died in a charity hospital in Rio de Janeiro on January 18th, 1949. Ponzi, before he dies, grants one last interview to an American reporter, telling him, quote, "Even if they never got anything for it, it was cheap at that price. Without malice or forethought, I had given them the best show that was ever staged in their territory since the landing of the Pilgrims. It was easily worth $15 million to watch me put the thing over."
This self-indulgent fuck.
And at the end, and at the time of his death, he had an unpublished manuscript of his autobiography that was to be titled "The Rise and Fall of Mr. Ponzi." And his quote-unquote estate was valued at about $100, just enough to pay for his funeral.
Fuck this guy.
Wow.
Oh, how old was he?
He was born in, 18...
82.
I think it was 82. Yeah, 1882. He died in 1940... 1949, so he was at least 49 years old.
Yeah.
So he was like,
67.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the math.
He was at
It's only
least
calculated.
40.
I'd put him like well over 16 years old.
I mean, 67 for back then. That's full life.
That's
Yeah.
a full life, and he did it mostly lavishly, it sounds like.
What a fuck.
No, it was,
I
the
mean,
bulk
like-
of his life was not lavish. The bulk of his life
Was in not.
But I mean, like,
but
it's
a
not-
lot
It
of that
wasn't in
A
prison,
lot
which
of
it
was
should
in
have been.
prison. Yeah,
Man.
it's
Yeah.
impressive.
I mean,
Well,
to retire in Brazil, you know, and then like World War II starts and oops, I don't have a job anymore. Whoopsie. But I'm in Brazil. Fuck off.
He made out better than he should have.
Yeah, it was more than he deserved.
That's
certainly.
exactly what I mean.
Considering how most people were fighting in a fucking war.
Yeah.
And he's just
There's like
chilling.
an active genocide happening.
He stole these people's life savings, came out of prison during the Great Depression, one of the worst, most miserable times to like exist
yep.
in the modern era, and then escaped World War II also
Yeah,
in Brazil.
Didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
that's something else. I'm gonna do a hard rap on this one because it's a long boy. If anybody has any final thoughts,
What was it was 15 million military deaths in World War II and 38 million civilian deaths.
And not a one
And not
Ponzi.
a one
And,
Ponzi.
and one bullet couldn't find its way to this guy.
yeah, seriously.
Well, this is Joseph saying, I guess if you just scam a bunch of people and do a bunch of white collar crime, you might get to
Be president one
die
day.
and live comfortably, or be president.
Seriously.
So maybe don't.
Don't.
I think the takeaway is if you believe in yourself and really never take a L as a L and just
Don't spin this.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, this is Austin saying, never trust a Sicilian.
Whoa.
Well, I'm Grant, and that was a good one. I really like
Thank
this.
you.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
Jamie.
fun.
I'm Taylor, and I guess I'm glad I was invited.
Shut up.
Guesses. All right, Grant.
You love
Grant,
us.
you love
I love you guys so
all
much.
All right. And a 1, 2, 3, bye.
Like what you hear? Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Trashville_USA. And if there's a true crime story you want the gang to cover, email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com. Murder Schmurder is produced by Jamie. Our tracking engineer is Grant. And our mix and mastering engineer is Julie. Incidental music and our theme song is provided by Jules. This has been another production of